demolishing the G.K. Butterfield Highway. Whereas G.K. Butterfield is a lifelong resident of Wilson, North Carolina, and whereas after graduating from Charles H. Darton High School in Wilson, Butterfield earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science and Sociology from North Carolina Central University, and as a Juris Doctor degree from NCCU Law School. And whereas during his time at NCCU, Butterfield was active in many voter registration drives and brought awareness to the importance of voter registration. And whereas during his junior year at NCCU, Butterfield was drafted into the United States Army, where he served from 1968 to 1970 before he was honorary discharged, and then he returned to North Carolina Central University to complete his undergraduate degree. And whereas Butterfield established Fitch and Butterfield, a pioneer black law firm where he effectively served his clients, and whereas Butterfield was elected Residence Superior Court Judge in 1988, was appointed to North Carolina Supreme Court in 2001, serving until 2003, before he returned to the Superior Court bench. And whereas Butterfield was elected to the United States House of Representatives to represent the 1st Congressional District in 2004, and was a staunch advocate for his constituents, placing particular emphasis on securing federal appropriations for Halifax and Northampton counties. The North Carolina Board of Transportation already designated Interstate 95 from the Virginia state line to exit 173 at US 158 in Halifax County, the Congressman G.K. Butterfield Highway. That appropriate sign will be erected at a suitable time. Adopted this first day of February 2024 by the North Carolina Board of Transportation, Michael S. Fox, Chairman, J.R. Hopkins, Secretary of Transportation.
Motion by Melvin, is there a second?
Second.
Wow, that was a crowd. Big Freddie. Since he's laughing. So motion by Melvin, second by Grady. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. So we have a number of guests here, including our honoree and family members who we know well, who were fortunate enough that in addition to all of his great contributions to the state in general, he has contributed a family member to our DOT family. So Tanya is here as well. So if anyone who would like to would come up, we'll take a photo.
Mr. Chairman, I am grateful for this day, a day that would have been unimaginable when I began my public service many years ago. And so I am truly grateful. It is especially fitting that this reading today takes place on the anniversary of the launch of the modern-day civil rights movement. You may recall, on February 1st, 1960, 4 A&T students sat at the Woolworth's lunch counter.
What town was that in?
Greensboro. Michael had to get that in. On February 1st, 1960, A&T, which is now A&T State University in Greensboro, 4 students sat at the lunch counter so that years later, first-class citizenship would become the law of the land for all Americans. And so, in many respects, today is very, very special to me. And to my very best friend in the whole wide world, no stranger to this town, Representative, Senator, Judge, Milton F. Toby Fitch Jr. Toby, raise your hand. That's my best friend. He and Leo go back many, many years. My other friend who comes in second place, Judge J.J. Wynn Jr., who is the circuit judge of the United States Circuit Court of Appeals. Thank you, Jim, for coming today. And to another great North Carolinian, Representative Michael Ray. Representative Ray represents, as we all know, Halifax, Northampton, and Warren counties. Thank you, Michael, for coming. And the mayor from our hometown, Mayor Carlton Stevens, thank you, and to the chairman of the county commissioners for the Halifax County Board of Commissioners, and Charles Tyner, the chairman of the Northampton County Board of Commissioners. To my next door neighbor and my former district director, and now the the Rural Development Director for the state of North Carolina, Reginald Spade. Thank you, Reginald. And yes, he has a few $100 million in his budget. Let me do this very quickly. Some people have asked me, what is really my connection to Northampton and Halifax counties? Let me just tell you, and I can do it very quickly because I wrote it down so I wouldn't fumble with it. In 1922, my mother, after graduating from high school at Shaw University, right down the street here, didn't have high schools for African Americans during those days. When you left the 6th grade, you went to work. Unless your family had some connections, and my grandpa was a Baptist preacher connected to Shaw University. Mom came to Raleigh, went to Shaw University, got her high school diploma. And where did she go after she left there? She went to Northampton County, North Carolina, and became a teacher in what was called the Rosenwald Schools of Northampton County. Well, several years later, in 1926, my mother's sister married a Halifax County preacher who for 64 years pastored four churches, mind you, four, in Northampton and Halifax counties. They were Mount Zion and Seaboard, and Cool Spring and Gaston, Daniel Chapel and St. Paul, both in Enfield. Well, it doesn't stop there. My mother's sister became a classroom teacher at the historic Inboarden School in Enfield, which is in Halifax County, for many decades. They had no children. I was their child. My mother's brother, my mother's little brother, Diane, who is my cousin back there, is her father, was the principal at the Halifax County Training School, later called the Ralph Butch School, there in Weldon. As a young lawyer, I represented many clients in both of these counties, and I was counsel in the historic Johnson versus County of Halifax voting rights case that resulted in the creation of single-member districts for the Board of Commissioners. As a judge, I presided over Superior Court in these two counties, literally hundreds of times over the 15 years that I served as a judge. In 2004, voters in these counties, in very large numbers, I would say, voted to send me to Washington, where I remained for 18 long years. It was my joy to represent these counties and bring millions of dollars into their communities. I'm especially proud of the community project funding I secured for the construction of the Northampton County Courthouse. I joined with Representative Michael Ray, who also received and directed some appropriations from the state budget into that project. I recall convincing the United States Department of Agriculture to reprogram money that was due to lapse and send that money to Northampton County to construct the cultural center located there in Jackson. Across the river, I'm very proud of the Halifax County Community College and the dollars that we were able to send their way. And so I thank the chairs of these two boards, Commissioner Tyner and Commissioner Bryan, for supporting the naming of this 8.55 miles of their interstate in my honor. In closing, Mr. Chairman, let me say that I am proud of my state for many reasons. Our transportation system is one of the best in the nation. I don't say that tongue-in-cheek. I've traveled this country. We have one of the best transportation systems in the country. When you drive around the state in Rocky Mount and Fayetteville and Greensboro, you are making major investments in our highways and our bridges and other modes of transportation. You are to be commended for your vision for the future. On behalf of my family and friends and constituents, thank you for this high honor. I accept it with humility. Thank you.
And he's also given me the privilege of having a flashback to my legal career, because I think I've appeared in front of every judge here, Judge Wynn, Senator, and Judge Fitch, and I thank you all for not holding me in contempt no matter how ridiculous my argument might be. Thank you for that.
But Katie's good at this. She makes everybody look good, including me, which is hard.
The tighter the better. I've learned that. Yeah.
I think it's okay. Yeah. Okay, I got a cohort today, so I'm going to direct all eyes here